Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we'll talk about FortiGate basic setup. Let's start by the design or the network design. In this setup we will use 3 ports for the local area like users, data center and DMZ switch. Then we have the internet connectivity, so we'll use 4 ports from this FortiGate. So the user VLANs or the user LAN, it's for the employees or the admins in that organization. The data center, it will be used for the servers, which include all the important data for that organization. Then we have the DMZ zone. It's included all the published services for that organization. We don't put the servers that we publish in the data center. We put it in a DMZ zone. I mean by published like website or online banking or anything that organization will publish for the public. To start our lab, we need to go to download the VM from Fortinet. You can follow this link to download any version from the FortiGate. I will download the 647 and press the download here. Then you need to import the VM into the VMware workstation or any hypervisor that you have. But as you can see, we already choose here the VMware. You can choose another hypervisor if you have another one. Now we need to set up the network in our computer. So please follow my setup. The VMnet 0 is a bridge. We will use VMnet 2, 3, and 4. So make sure to uncheck these boxes. We don't need any connection between our local computer and the VMs or the ports or the firewall ports that we will use. Once you import the FortiGate VM, please make sure to set up it like this. The first adapter for bridge, the second one will be VMnet 2, 3, and 4. It will be internet, DMZ, data center, and users. Now we do the basic setup for the VMware workstation. As you can see here, I have Ubuntu clients. I will use them for testing. So please start downloading the Ubuntu from now. While we are setting up the FortiGate, it will be downloaded. We will start the FortiGate and power this device on. It will show us the login. It will be admin, the default username, and the password is empty, so press enter. You need to set up your password for the admin. Choose an easy one that you can remember. So now we can start our configuration. As you can see here, my LAN or my wireless adapter using the subnet 1. So I will use the IP address 192.168.1.2 for the firewall because it's bridged. So I'll go here. I will type the following: config system interface, then enter, edit port 1. This is the port that we configure the network on it as bridge. We will type then enter, edit port 1, enter, set mode. It will be static, not DHCP or anything else. As you can see, static and then enter set IP and the IP that we have, then the subnet mask. We will set the allow access. The allow access means what type of protocols that we will use to access the firewall management. So I will use HTTPS and HTTP, also ping and SSH. Then we will write and enter to save the configuration. As you can see here, the firewall or the firewall port is up. We will go to our web browser and I will refresh the page here. Admin, our password. You can see here we logged in to the device. I use the HTTP, not HTTPS. So here is our device. The default page will be like this. It will be the dashboard. Now we will start configuring this device by going to network, to the interface. This port, the port 1, we already configured this port using the command line. Now we have port 2, 3, and 4. Everyone, to start configuring the port, you will select the port, then press edit. This one will be DMZ. We will choose the following IP. We will enable the ping only, and I will enable the DHCP. Then press OK. Now port 3. This one will be the data center. We will use the following IP also. We'll enable the DHCP and OK. 3 ports are configured, as you can see here. The 4th one will be the users. Here's the alias. Let's say it's kind of names. Here you can put the address. It will be manual or DHCP. We will select the ping. These are the protocols that as an admin you can access the firewall on this IP address or port. So if you enable only the ping, you can enable only this port. You cannot access the firewall management using this port. If you need to access the firewall management using this port, you need to enable the HTTPS. If you also want to SSH to this firewall or FortiGate, you need to use the SSH. We will enable also the DHCP. DHCP will help us to distribute IPs over the client. Then OK. We have 4 ports configured correctly. Now let's test our network configuration. As I told you, please create 3 Ubuntu machines for the testing. One for the DMZ, one for the center, and one for the users. We will power them on. And wait. I just want to show you that the users will be connected to the VMnet 4, VMnet 2 for DMZ, VMnet 3 for data center, as you can see here. which means the user is connected to the port number 4 on the FortiGate. And if we go here to our machine, open the terminal, type IP address, you can see here the DHCP works successfully, and here is the IP address that is assigned to this machine. And if you ping the gateway, which is 40.1, successfully pinged. We can do this for each machine here to check our connectivity or network connectivity. It's connected to VLAN 30, correct, and you can ping the gateway, great, and here is our DMZ. From the DMZ, it's connected to subnet 20. So if we go to the users and try to ping our machine on the data center, which is 30.2, and enter, it's not pingable. But before solving this issue, I want to show you something here. Go to the admin, config, backup. Please everyone do this, because sometimes the firewall will stop working because it's a virtual machine and the license will expire. So keep a backup of the configuration that you are doing by pressing the OK here and saving the file on your local computer. I saved my file. So right now, as I told you, we need to solve the problem why the users cannot ping the data center, let's say servers. The firewall works as, let's say, a separator between the networks. It controls the traffic, the inbound and the outbound traffic, and limit the connections. So if I did not configure a policy that allow the users to ping the servers, it will not allow the ping. That's the firewall work. So let's go to policy and objects, firewall policy. You will see no firewalls here, only the implicit deny, which will deny all the traffic. So we need to allow some traffic. We press create new. We will type users to data center. The port will be the source, will be the users. This is our source, the incoming. The outgoing will be the data center. What's the source IP addresses? You can allow all the clients or all the computers connected to this port, or you can type specific IPs by creating some addresses. For now, we will do all. The destination also can be specific, but we will choose all. The schedule, for how much time this is allowed, can be always, it can be for a specific time or a period of time. What services you want to allow? You can allow all the traffic, the IP traffic, TCP traffic, UDP traffic, or you can allow specific protocols. For now, we will choose all, or if we want only to test the ping, we will use all ICMP. Now the policy is configured correctly. Save it and go back to your machine. Boom, it's pingable right now. We can ping from our users to the data center. Okay, for now, let's configure another policy. Then, to limit the access between the users and the data center, sometimes we need to create policies for users to access some web portals in the data center. So let's say users web. Now the users want to use the internet, so we need to create a policy for the users to use the internet. As you can see here in this machine, there is nothing working here. It's just a cache for the Google. I type Facebook, nothing working. So let's go to our firewall. Users needs to access. So let me ask you, what's the incoming interface? Correct, it's the users. Then what's the outgoing? It will be the port 1, which is the WAN or the internet. Then the source will be, if we need to add the internet to all our users, we try or we use all. But if you don't want, you can create here an address. We'll say here manager. And what's the IP address for that manager? It's 192.168. It's 40.2. And the subnet is 32, which means one host. This manager needs to go to the internet, means all the destination. What services? For internet, you don't need all. You need HTTP, HTTPS, and if there is no local DNS, you need also the DNS. So only 3 protocols: DNS, HTTP, and HTTPS. Make sure the NAT is working and press OK. The internet will not work for that manager. Why? I will let you know why after taking a backup from the system. The backup is saved successfully. Let's go to the machine. Google.com. Nothing working. Why? Correct, because we don't have a route on the firewall, so we need to create a route, a default route for the firewall. So go to static routes, no route. What the firewall would do if he go or find a packet that he don't know how to handle its route. So we need to create a default route. Our route will be 1.1 using port 1. This route means all the traffic that you don't know about it, send it to this router, which is my home router for this lab. We press OK. Go back to our machine. Type google.com. Wait, it's working right now. Now the users can access the web services in the data center. They can access also the internet. What else do you want to learn about basic configuration for the FortiGate? Let's go to system. From this you can configure users. From the system administrators you can configure users for the firewall. Here is the firmware update. You can do it manually from here. Here is some settings for the time and the host name for the FortiGate. Now for the future, when you become a professional in doing the routes and the policies, you can protect the users from accessing any malicious internet by applying these security profiles. After understanding the firewall correctly, go to fortinet.com or to your search website and search about FortiGate security profiles. You will find a lot of information. By default, you can enable the web filter for the users. It will be the default one that comes with the firewall, but it needs a license here. You can apply also IPS and certificate inspection. All these security profiles are important to protect the users, especially the IPS when you create a policy from outside the organization to your organization. I think that's all for this lab. Thank you everyone and have a great day.